Hi everyone and welcome to Therapy Sims. I'm Sam, I'm a therapist, and this episode we're going to be looking at the 5 steps you need to know in order to get really helpful, really useful counselling. It seems such a simple question, doesn't it? What is counselling? But it's a really important one. You need to know what to expect, what to look for, and how to use it. So the first 4 steps here are important, but the 5th step is going to be the most important. Without the 5th step, the first 4, they won't be as useful to you, not at all. But we'll go through step by step. Step 1, what type of counselling? Now, I'm talking from, an English point of view because I'm English, I'm in England, but these kind of ideas, they go across the border a lot. It will be what I say around England and what we do here, and there will be differences and stuff, and if you like I can always go over other countries and how they go about counselling in another episode. But what I say here will pretty much cover what counselling is and the basic theories behind. I'm not going to go into grand detail. I'll do separate episodes for each. But I'll give you a little overview of the basics of what counselling is. There are 4 main types of counselling that the colleges teach. So the first is CBT, which stands for Cognitive Behavioural Therapy. It is one that's really got a lot of acclaim lately. The NHS love it. It's known to be a short-term therapy and certainly you can get a lot of results. But it's down to you really. CBT, in its basic form, looks at the here and now. It looks at your thought patterns and how they result in your behaviours. The idea is, through worksheets, through homework, through really looking at your reactions to things, to what's happened to you and your reaction to them, it aims to change your thought process and as such, your behaviour. It will rely a lot on you doing stuff outside of sessions. It's very homework orientated. It's all very well sitting for 50 minutes in a room with somebody. You have to go and you have to put this stuff into action. It is a very powerful tool. Is it the right one for you? That's the question for you to answer. The second is psychodynamic. Psychodynamic comes from the teachings of Freud, from psychoanalysis. The idea is it goes back. The therapist is much more proactive, I guess, within the sessions. You would go back to your past, to your childhood, and look at where things come from, the whys. It delves in deeply. It is seen as a more long-term therapy, but again, it's how you use it. You can get very far in a few sessions, as you can with CBT, or it can take you longer. But the idea is the therapist will take you back and ask you about your childhood, really delve into what was going on for you and where your reactions come from, where your ideas of the world, of who you are, of who people are, where all those things come from. It matters. At some point we learnt everything. As babies we have the fear of falling and loud noises and the ability to cry and then suckle. Other than that we learn everything from somewhere, don't we? Everything we know has come from somewhere, and it's finding that somewhere, why you believe what you believe, and a psychodynamic therapist will take you back there. Then there's person-centered therapy, and this is actually the one that I personally have my foundations in. I'm qualified in CBT, I'm trained in psychodynamic, and a few other things. I went mad. But essentially, my foundations are person-centered, and it's the one, if I can be a bit biased, that makes the most sense to me. Person-centered, before it was known as client-centered, it is centered around the person, and you, the client, are the person. The idea is deep down you are the expert. You know what is wrong. You know what you need. And the purely person-centered therapist will simply follow you around, will go where you lead, will allow you to be the master of the therapy, of the session. Whatever you want to bring in that week, you bring and we follow you. It is seen sometimes as a little bit more floaty, maybe is the word, than other ones, but to be truly person-centered, to be truly there with that person on a therapeutic depth, I think takes skill, real skill, and they will be there for you. They will see you as the person that you are, and they will trust you to find your own way to your answers. It's like taking a bus journey. You can take it direct from one stop to the other, or it can go around the houses a bit, but by going around the houses a bit, you get a much more in-depth idea, I feel anyway. And then there's Integrative, which is essentially taking those other three and anything else and sticking them all together. It integrates them. The idea is, and it is, I think, the one I personally follow the most. It is what that particular client, what you need. So if you need to go and look at your childhood, that is where the therapist will take you. If you need to have some homework, some stuff to achieve week by week, to really look at your thought processes and the here and now and what you can act on today, they'll bring in some CBT. If you are someone that just needs another person to just sit down and shut up and listen, that is what we will do as well. So really it is finding the idea that suits you most. Sometimes a counsellor will advertise what type of theory they work by, and other times not so much. It really depends on their website, on where you're looking. We're getting to that. But a little bit of information, and it only takes a bit of a Google to find out, maybe will give you more of an insight into what you want. But really, sitting with the therapist and talking it through, that will hopefully find you how best for you to continue. So, a little bit of information never hurt anybody. An idea, you don't need to have a huge idea, but just a little idea in mind of what you're looking for. Do you want long term? Do you want short term? Do you want to focus on the here and now? Do you just want to talk and find your own way? Or do you want something a bit more honed and are going to find out the reasons why? Or do you want all three? That is up to you. And that's something that you can find out. But now you've got an idea of what you want. How do you find that counsellor? And again, this differs from country to country. I can really only talk about in England, but essentially, like anything, like any trade, you advertise and people find you. Essentially, that's it. As with any other trade, any other job like this, the counsellor will probably have a website. Also, there are counselling directories out there that list different counsellors and what they do, that kind of thing. Those, some are amazing, some, questionable. Most will ask for the counsellor's qualifications and proof of insurance and what memberships they have. Some, to be honest, just kind of want your money and they'll stick you on anyway. It is something maybe to look into when you find a directory, just to see what the counsellor needs in order to be a member. Check their qualifications. I mean, if you have the right qualifications, you'd show them off, right? So really, they'd be on their websites. They'll be on these directories. You'll be able to see what qualifications each counsellor has. Because trust me, after going through all this stuff, we're going to show them off. So if you come across a counsellor and you can't see their qualifications, I would just say have a think about why. I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but I'd wonder why. Because trust me, my qualifications are up there. Every single one. Like with anything, you can take research as far as you want it to go. As long as you are happy with the results and you feel comfortable to continue, then that's okay. There are always, in every single job out there, there are elements that we really wish aren't there. But to be honest, training as a counsellor is a very long task. So fingers crossed, those who make it to the end, they're there to help you. So it's really finding the right one for you. So most importantly, how do you feel about them? You have to be comfortable with your therapist. Regardless of the theories they follow, you have to be able to get on with them, to trust them, to be able to be open with them. It matters. Whether it's their photo, their logo, how their write-up reads, or the website, how that's presented, whatever makes you think, yes, I want to try this person, you go for it. And even if you've got a name of a counsellor through a referral from a friend or colleague, they might still not be quite right for you. So still, check them out first. Look at their website. Chances are, if it's a friend, you might have similar tastes, similar ideas, but still, have a check. See if you like them. You have to be comfortable. Step 3. This is a simple one. It's contact time. You found the person you like, so you're ready to contact them. You can phone them, absolutely, or maybe you'd like to text or email if you don't want to talk. That's fine too. We're used to any kind of contact, to be honest. I think personally I get emailed the most, because then you can set out your message, you can really think about what you want to say to this person and what information you want back, whether the practical of how much they charge and all the rest of it, and also just get an idea of them. So leave a message with a brief outline of what's wrong. You don't have to go into too much detail if you don't feel comfortable doing so over email or text or phone. You can just say you're feeling down if you like, but if it is a more specialist issue like bereavement or definitely couples counselling or anything like that, it might be useful to give a little bit more info just so the counsellor is prepared, especially with CBT, so they can get all their homeworks and stuff that they might need ready for you. But you have to be, again, comfortable with what you share, and if you just want to say, I'd like to book in, when are you free? Go for it. Now, you might have gone through steps 1 and 2. You might have found somebody that you feel comfortable with, but you come to it and you find that you're not ready to contact them yet. And that's okay. You need to be ready. That's the important bit. So hold on to their number, hold on to their name, keep thinking about it, and when you are ready, hopefully they will still be there, and if they're still there, well, there you go. You contact them. It has to be at your pace, all of this. Don't let other people tell you to. Take the advice of loved ones and people that you trust, absolutely. But you have to be ready, number 1. Step 4. What's it going to be like? This isn't necessarily a step for you to take, but it is something for you to think about and some information to have. Now, you found the counsellor for you. You've made that appointment. So what's next? What is it like? Counsellors are all different. We are people after all, and we all work in different ways, but their training should all incorporate the same basic premises. Now, practically, where is the counselling going to take place? Generally, unless you're going to an agency or a charity, the chances are your counsellor is self-employed. And quite frankly, even sometimes in agencies and charities, they're still self-employed. A self-employed counsellor will either hire a room to work from or have a room in their house where they work from. I have a shed at the bottom of my garden. It's very nice. I'll do another video from the counsellor's point of view, but I'll give you a quick overview here of how we basically work. Hiring a room means paying for that room, either hourly or for a set time scale. There might be a reception for you to wait in and a receptionist to say hi. Rooms can be in gyms or spas or beauty places or even offices. They might be in a place that's not quite set up for counselling. There may be other people in the building making a bit of noise, and it may not be very personal to the counsellor either, just shifting around of chairs for the time that they're there. A room in the counsellor's home means it's the counsellor's own space, but there's no receptionist to let you in if you get there early and it's raining. Something to think about. It will be in, as I say, their home. A lucky counsellor will have a space away from their family life, from noise, but again, there may be barking dogs, there may be other people in the house, and you will be going to someone's home. Something to think about. Both have advantages and disadvantages, but basically, as long as there is a comfy chair and a caring ear, you'll be okay. Now, we've had a look at the practical ideas of this, but what about the emotional? Most therapists should follow what's known as the 3 core conditions, set down by Carl Rogers, who is the founder of the person-centered theory. They are accepted, I think, over all the theories because, quite frankly, they are a good idea. The 3 core conditions are congruence, being genuine, that your counsellor is there and is honest and is who they are, and it doesn't mean sharing with you their children's names or their favourite colour. Mine's orange, by the way. It means being a person as they are, on the basis level, 2 people, 2 humans together, and they will be honest with you. The second is being non-judgmental, and that's pretty much what it says. The idea is, regardless of what you have done, even if you've done something terrible, the therapist is there to listen, to not judge you on what you have done, but be there with you as the person, the human that you are. Of course, the counsellor is a person, as I said earlier, and all of us have our boundaries. The idea is we should be able to go back in time and counsel Hitler and be absolutely okay with it. But there's boundaries. There is boundaries. But regardless of your gender, of your sexuality, of your religion, of your ideas of how you bring your children up, on the things that you do in the day-to-day life, the idea is a therapist should not be judging you upon those things, even if you've done something stupid, even if you've done something mean, even if you're living a life that isn't up to your expectations either. The counsellor should accept you as a human and work on your faults, as we all have faults. We are fallible after all. And the last core condition is to have unconditional positive regard. And again, it's as the words say, the counsellor should be able to regard you positively, unconditionally. The idea is that you are a worthwhile human being. You have worth, regardless of whatever is going on. And the counsellor's regard for you should be unconditional. It shouldn't be set out on all the things that we learn throughout our lives, all the things that we end up believing. You're worthwhile if you eat up your dinner. You're worthwhile if you're a good quiet girl. You're worthwhile if you're big and strong and beat all the rest on the football team. You're worthwhile. Full stop. The counsellor should listen to you, but not collude with you. If you are doing something that's hurting you or others, they should challenge you on it. They're not there to smile and nod. They're kind of stealing your money if they do. They're supposed to help you to move forward. You can't fix a problem until you know it's there, and counselling is supposed to help you see those problems and then move towards fixing them. Emotionally, counselling is going to delve into what's going on for you to face things in a safe environment with someone to walk alongside you. It's not a pleasant chat about mundane things. It's about you, which leads us to step 5, the most important one. You. The best counsellor and the most comfortable chair can only do so much. You are the main component. You need to commit yourself to it. Like with anything, you will get out what you put in. You need to be open and honest, not necessarily with the counsellor. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to risk looking within yourself to find out what's going on. And do you know what? As with any human, as with me, as with the counsellor you end up sitting with, we are all fallible humans. We all make mistakes. And admitting to those mistakes can be embarrassing, humiliating. It can hurt like hell. But you do it within that safe environment. You are open and honest with yourself. And yeah, it'll hurt. It'll sting like crazy sometimes, but that's the point. You let it out. You find the problem, you search, you pull it out, you process it. Then you get to let it go. Then you get to feel better, truly, honestly, happy. The point to counselling is to give you space to just search within you. You are the master. You are in control, but that means it is on your shoulders. But that means that you get to do it. Your counsellor is a tool. If you don't pick up that tool and start hammering that nail into the wall, well, that picture's not going on the wall. Strange analogy, I know. Don't try and do that with your counsellor. That wouldn't be good. But they are this tool for you to use, and you use it as best as you can. And this will come in your own time. You don't have to rush. It is a process. Each session will lead on to the next. Generally, you have a session once a week, whatever's best, but generally we aim for once a week. During that week, you're processing what you've said, what your counsellor has pointed out, what they've picked up. They shouldn't be advising you, they shouldn't be telling you, but they should be bringing things up that you've said, linking it back to other sessions when you've said something similar, pointing out when you kind of avoid something. Say you mention your sister, but you never ever talk about her, and you're absolutely fine, and you don't care. Yeah, you do, and your counsellor should be picking up on that and pointing it out to you. But ultimately it's about you being honest. It's always going to be about you being honest with yourself in front of somebody else to just help you be safe and help you hear back what you have said. Maybe to just gently push you into a certain direction, maybe talk about this session, maybe we'll go into your childhood, maybe point out that every time you talk about your sister you kind of cross your arms and kind of avoid the subject. Maybe it's time for us to talk about your sister. What do you think? That is what your counsellor is there for. That is what counselling is there for. It is your space. You're in control. That means it's down to you. A good counsellor will help you. A good counsellor will help you find all of this stuff and in a safe way help you to process it so that you can leave feeling taller, feeling lighter, feeling better about yourself. But your counselling is your own and you take it as far as you want to take it. So there you go, there are my 5 steps to helpful, useful counselling. I hope it helped you. I hope you find something in there that is of use. And remember, that last step is the most important. You can have the best counsellor in the world, but if you're just going to sit there with your arms crossed, not saying anything, well, they can't really get very far, can they? So when you're ready to make that commitment, when you found someone that you like and you just feel that you can trust, you go for it. Thank you very much for watching this. Please give it a like if you liked it. Please subscribe if you'd like to. It helps with YouTube algorithms and things and letting other people see my stuff as well. It's important. I don't quite understand how it's important, but apparently it's really important. So please give it a like, please subscribe, and I hope to see you next episode. Bye!